What's up, guys? Welcome back. So I want to share with you today the workout regimen I've been doing at home for the last 6 months. Now, the reason that I've been doing this new workout regimen is partially due to the fact that I got a new house, but it's also because I wanted to challenge myself to see how much I could gain from just using my body weight and simple tactics like push-ups, pull-ups, jump rope, and martial arts training such as boxing and kickboxing. Now, there's some hidden merits to this sort of training because it really teaches you how to gain great results from absolutely nothing. And when you get, the greatest of results from no resources or help, it really does build your confidence, right? So let me get into this. So the first thing that I really made sure to double down on was my push-ups. Now, with the push-ups, depending on your preference, you can use your palms. Me personally, I like to use my fists because it's a lot more aligned, and also it gives me that extra range of motion, and I actually just find it to be more comfortable, despite most people not finding it comfortable. Now, you also can get these wooden handles that allow you to essentially get into the push-up position the same way you would use a bench press, only, they're a little bit wider, but they also have handles that are the same width of a barbell, if that's what your preference is. Now, the reason I like these push-ups is because it really does help develop your chest and tries, but also because normally when you're on a bench press, you're able to put your feet on the ground and use leg drive. With push-ups, you actually have to really, engage your core and maintain a straight back to have that strict form. And to work on this even more, you can also lift your legs up in the air because it makes it so much harder. And there's a lot of ways to vary these push-ups to make them harder, right? Because it can get very boring and have a lack of progression ideas with only doing more reps. But you can also do things like, putting your feet in an elevation, which works your upper chest, but also makes the thing a lot harder. You can implement weight vests, and then you can just implement different grips, whether it's you're going wide or you're going narrow to your liking. Okay, now the next thing I got into was my pull-ups. Now, the thing I love about pull-ups is that even if you're a guy that's into barbell rows and deadlifts, although those are probably the best bang for your buck back exercises, when you do pull-ups, there's something about it that you can only really get better at them by doing them. Like some things with dumbbells and barbells have carryover, but I really feel like pull-ups are like their own area of fitness. But man, when you start doing them, you make incredible back gains right away. And it's so cheap to buy one of those basic Iron Gym type of home pull-up bars that go on the molding, and you get so many different grips where you can work the biceps, you can work your upper lats by going wider, and it just makes the whole thing funner. If you wanted to crank out 5 to 10 sets of pull-ups to essentially failure, you can do each set with almost like a different grip. And then, like I said before, you can always make things harder. You can use negatives, you can use pauses, you can change your grips up, you can use weight vests. There's so much variability, and whenever there's a lot of variability, it makes having the little bit of progress you make each workout easier to attain, right? Because when you're doing barbell movements and dumbbell movements, it seems like there's less variability because normally you're just trying to add weight or add reps when you can. With these weighted calisthenics, there's so much different ways to approach it that you kind of feel like you're always getting 1% better because you're always able to do a little bit more by playing with the variability of these different methods and variations, okay? Now, the thing I like to use for cardio lately is the jump rope. Now, for a while, I was really into running. I was running 5 to 10 miles at a time, and there's nothing wrong with running. The thing I like about the jump rope, though, is not only does it give you that cardio, you can sort of stay in that zone 2 cardio for a long period of time, whether it's a half hour or 40 minutes or an hour, or you do rounds. I like the fact that it really works the calves and gets you very springy for things like boxing and martial arts. Because the thing with the jump rope is it can be considered boring when you're just doing the basic jumps, but as you get into learning different tricks, it sort of gives you something to focus on while you're doing the jump rope. And to be honest with you, it's really fun. If I'm ever on a trail running and I'm getting really exhausted, I kind of look at the clock or look at my mileage and I grind it out. I never really feel like I'm grinding with the jump rope. Even when I do really fast, 1 to 2 minute round, high intensity work, I still feel like I'm enjoying it all the way through, even if it's hard. I'm just enjoying the process a lot more. So maybe that's just up to preference. But I really think you guys should start jump roping and get into the jump rope as your preferred form of, pure cardio, not just like boxing or sled pulls or any kind of sport, but also just to implement some kind of pure cardio. It really helps to shave off fat, and it just adds to your overall caloric deficit if you're trying to lose weight in the form of burning calories rather than you being in a caloric deficit in the form of you robbing yourself of calories. I like that better personally. Now, the last thing I would say is, get a heavy bag. A lot of striking coaches and boxing coaches, they're against people trying to train on their own. But look, you don't have to necessarily want to be a fighter. I think if you get a heavy bag and you learn how to do the basic punches responsibly, you can get so much of a great calorie burning workout from doing the heavy bag. Normally it's hard to, let's say, sustain throwing punches for a half hour or a full hour. But in theory, if you could compare the calories being burned to throwing punches and moving around a bag versus steady state cardio like running, you're easily burning a lot more calories, and it's probably going to do a lot for your overall fitness. And also you bring that extra bit of muscular fatigue, because when you think about the idea of low reps with heavy weights, or mid to high reps like 15 to 30 with things like calisthenics, whenever you work the heavy bag, man, it's like you're getting so much of that long duration muscular fatigue in the form of holding your hands up and throwing punches, and your shoulders, your front delts, your triceps, your biceps. They take such a massive hit, but I genuinely have found that I've gained lean muscle mass just from boxing. And I know that goes against the contemporary science and optimization of how people feel, this is the best way to gain lean muscle, or this is. But I am telling you, if you've never really boxed before, if you start implementing boxing, you will literally gain lean muscle mass, even if you're already an advanced lifter. Just try it. Don't knock it till you try it. So that's basically my 4 main things I've been doing for the last 6 months: jump rope, push-ups, pull-ups, and boxing. And I swear to you that all other things considered, if you were to only do these 4 things and lock in for 6 months, you would guaranteed see massive results. Or maybe this could just be part of your training, or you could make these the main focus of your training and then do other things as accessories. However you want to do it, it's really up to you. But like I said, there's a lot of merits to home workouts, and there really is just something about getting the grandest results from nothing that just boosts your confidence and makes you realize, if I can build muscle with just these basics, you give me a full gym, now the sky is even more the limit, right? So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Stay tuned for more.